Germs.
Oh, whatever.
Cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, chills, fever, and fatigue.
Normally, when you breathe in air, it travels through these branches of the lungs, and at the end of these branches, there are structures called alveoli. And this is where gas exchange happens. Oxygen ends up here, and CO2 is then picked up to be exhaled. Alveoli are pockets surrounding the alveolar ducts situated at the final branchings of the bronchial tree of each lung. The alveolar wall is a single cell layer thick and contains squamous pulmonary epithelium and occasional septal cells. Septal cells are vacuolated cells that produce the phospholipid component of the surfactant, which prevents the air bubbles in the alveoli from collapsing. Air in the alveoli is separated from the blood in the alveolar capillaries by the respiratory membrane, which facilitates efficient gas exchange. The alveolar capillary network is the most extensive in the body.
The two most important processes in maintaining homeostasis are maintaining pH and regulating gas exchange. Maintaining pH is important in the plasma to keep between the normal range of 7.35 to 7.45. If you step outside this range, homeostasis will be altered. In gas exchange, the regulation is important for maintaining homeostasis. In regulation of gas exchange, we are talking about the carbon dioxide and the oxygen diffusing through the alveolar cell membrane, which will be explored further. External respiration is the process of gas exchange between the air in the alveoli and the blood in the capillaries that surround them. The diffusion of gases across the respiratory membrane relies on their partial pressure and solubility in water. Gases will diffuse from a mixture with greater partial pressure to one with lesser partial pressure. Therefore, carbon dioxide is moving out of the capillaries and into the alveoli, while oxygen is moving out of the alveoli and into the capillaries. pH is important to be maintained in the plasma because if you change pH, the shape of the proteins will change and not function properly. If this happens, it can either lead to respiratory acidosis or respiratory alkalosis. This is a problem coming from the lungs that only the urinary system will be able to fix. This is a disruption that will happen in a person with pneumonia. The majority of oxygen in the body is transported by hemoglobin, which is a huge protein found inside the red blood cell. Pneumonia is a respiratory disorder involving inflammation of the lung structures, such as alveoli and the bronchioles. Pneumonia can be caused by infectious agents such as bacteria. An example of this is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Also, viruses, fungi, and non-infectious agents such as gastric secretions that are aspirated into the lungs. Since there is a pathogen invading the alveoli, white blood cells will migrate to the alveoli in order to fight off the pathogen. This will cause gaps in the alveoli membrane and the capillaries surrounding. And this allows red blood cells, white blood cells, and fluid to leak in. Over time, this progresses to some of the alveoli and causes more fluid to build up. This then forms a layer. The fluid area acts as a dead area, so there is no gas exchange. The O2 that is inhaled will then be exhaled back out, and the high levels of CO2 in the capillaries will keep traveling throughout the body, and no gas exchange will happen.
Susie suffered from pneumonia, which is an acute lung infection caused by a variety of pathogens.
You can get it from hospitals or overcrowded areas in the community through air droplets.
Antibiotics are effective in treating bacterial pneumonia. In summary, pneumonia disrupts homeostasis through causing an imbalance in pH and insufficient gas exchange. The alveolar cell membrane is disrupted due to the pathogen creating gaps in the membrane. The proteins involved in gas exchange are disrupted and change shape as a result, all which happen in a person with pneumonia.
Pneumonia is a very serious lung infection that could cause many complications and adverse outcomes, including death.